Episode 6 reaction! If you were on Twitch right now, you could probably catch it, but guess what? You're a dumb YouTube monkey that doesn't even know how to click on the Twitch link to get everything for free. So you're gonna just have to wait for the YouTube edit, man. Here is Aninews' video on episode 5 cut content. Let's check it out.
Though it feels like so much has happened since Sung started working as Miner, this last episode was actually the most faithful. Only 4 chapters were covered from the manhwa, and a solid amount of time was spent focusing on the B team here.
Okay.
Like, it's not often a character other than Sung gets to shine in the spotlight, but in this battle with the High Orcs, it seems like everyone did. What then did the anime leave out? Well, there's the whole reason he even signed up to do this work. The significance of permits making these gates properties of the Hunters Guild.
The paperwork.
And a bunch of smaller details like Cha's curiosity and Sung's full involvement here.
I do want to know that.
Let's get started.
Before we get started,
Episode 17.
No ad break.
This is what we're trained to do. Covering chapters 67 to 71 from the manhwa and chapters 82 to 88 from the novel. To start things at the beginning of Sung's mining stint, if you're wondering why manual labor is used instead of heavy machinery, it all comes down to the fact modern technology doesn't work here.
What?
Anything running on electricity ceases to operate.
What? I don't think this is really an EMP, but anything electricity doesn't work here? What about steam engine?
So instead, workers are given magic-infused items like this pickaxe.
Okay.
Now, there was a small interaction cut between the foreman and the guild's administrator.
Hey! No, this is probably outside. I'm like looking at the light. Wouldn't this run on electricity batteries? No, this is probably outside. Thank you for the 400-bit Bogatti again.
Involving the foreman complaining that the raid team was taking too long. This was something the admin could only apologize for, since in every guild, all other teams were at the mercy of the raid team. Reason being that, where miners were very easy to replace, key strike squad members weren't. It's for this reason that guild employees would always do their best to accommodate the raid team.
Yep.
Their moods were—
We are disposable. We are filthy laborers. Go fucking put the rocks in the bag, bro.
something every part of the guild needed to be aware of. It was when the strike squad finally did return that, aside from Choi, Sung couldn't distinguish anyone as particularly powerful.
Oh, who is this one? Yo, I don't remember a purple hair girl with this kind of design. Different party? Different party. Yo, that design though, with the middle booba, okay.
As particularly powerful. Their difference in power was so stark that it made him think perhaps they were the weak ones. This obviously wasn't true though, since someone like Choi wouldn't raid with someone who was weak. No. All this was a matter of perspective. Sung's leveling had made him stronger, and he was now at a point where he was powerful enough to consider the #1 strike squad in the country weak. It was an observation Sung himself couldn't believe he was making.
Bro's too
when
strong.
Cha had come out.
But that's the thing, the power scale is going crazy right now, because that's the #1 strike squad in Korea. Bro, we're in season 2, not even like halfway in. And he's already like stronger than like the strongest strike squad in Korea. That is impressive for Sung Jin-woo, but at the same time, yo, we're ass. This country is doomed. We're fucked. And like, I don't know, again, is it impressive for Jinwoo or is it embarrassing for Korea? It's oh, Jesus Christ, man. Ooh, has he watched Ben 10 yet? Am I late? 5 messages in chat. There's just one rule that exists, and that's to never ask if or when we've watched something. Now I gotta put you in detention. You did this. You did this, not me.
Out next. You'd be surprised to know this was actually the first time Sung would lay eyes on her. As a hunter who tended to stay far away from the spotlight, not many clear photos existed of her.
Okay.
So here would be the first time—
Really? I thought that she was in magazines and everything. Showing up on billboards and advertisements and, you know, the whole corpa thing that's going on.
Sung would get a good look at her. Now, the reason she didn't investigate further into the powerful aura she sensed was mainly because doing so would have required strengthening the foul odor she picked up.
The scent of the monitor, not body odor.
That was a sensation she preferred not to indulge in, resulting in her disregarding the aura as nothing.
Okay.
It was once Sung finally got into the gate himself that every part of its conquest would be imprinted into his brain. It was, after all, the whole reason he came out here. He wanted to see how a high-level guild went about completing a high-rank dungeon.
It's cracked. It's actually still insane. Bro walked in solo, just wiped the entire dungeon minus the boss because we can't have the gate closed if we clear the boss. His one fire attack clears out the entire mobs. And then the fact that it recoils back and the flames come back, we needed an additional tanks to cover the recoil. That is like on another level of flex. I just, it's crazy, man. They do it differently.
So, first was the raid team wiping out all monsters minus the boss. Next was the retrieval team dragging out all
That's right, slaves! Manual labor, pull harder!
the monster remains. After that was the mining team to extract all minerals and resources, then finally the raid team again to kill the boss and close the gate.
You know what? I would most likely be a miner. With my kind of luck, I probably would end up like D rank, maybe at best C rank. Probably would end up just doing manual labor, yeah.
After that was the mining team to extract all minerals and resources, then finally the raid team again to kill the boss and close the gate.
Here we go.
This was the 4-stage process that allowed guilds to maximize the amount of profits they could make. Mana stones and magic crystals were always nice, but where the real money was at was with
Relics?
the monster corpses.
Okay.
That was the difference between a high-ranked dungeon and a low-ranked one. Everything in the high-ranked one was worth something. Whether it be bones
The
or
mats,
flesh,
the loot.
there wasn't a single part of a high-ranked monster which couldn't be sold for tons of money.
Cool.
So it was as
They can't eat the monsters though, right? I thought that maybe there was like an industry of gourmet monster foods. That's some dungeon meshy shit.
Sung contemplated how he would do this himself that he would come to realize his shadows could do all of it just fine.
Yep.
He could divide them into 3 separate groups, then have one hunt, another retrieve, and another mine.
You know what? Fuck it. This is still inefficient. You know what the optimal farming is? Jinwoo doesn't even go in. Instead, he has commanders such as Igris, such as Iron. These dudes will be responsible for the strike squad for each dungeon. Jinwoo will be outside chilling. Maybe he has to recast, you know, the summons, but maybe the summons are good enough to stay alive. But like, could you imagine that level of optimal? He doesn't even need to go in the dungeon. He just sends his shadows in with one commander, comes out clean. Oh, that'd be crazy.
I mean, his shadows were far stronger than any of the workers, so it wouldn't make sense to really hire any. This led Sung to the conclusion he could conquer a high-ranked dungeon all by himself, making the whole job as a miner worth it.
It is an AFK gacha game. That's where it's inspired from. I'm always thinking about how do I optimize the farming so that I do less the playing. The ultimate goal of these games is to not play the game. How do I play the game without playing the game? Let the shadows farm everything.
He had acquired the valuable information he was hoping to. Sung would then ask questions as to why no one was nervous about the boss, to which the foreman would cite how, until a dungeon break, the boss almost always stayed inside its boss room.
Okay.
This was nothing more than a commonly accepted belief, but in the 3 years the foreman had been working, the boss had never escaped on him once. If it did, then everyone in the dungeon would die for sure. So, Sung could only think how lucky it was to live in such ignorance, since if he could only sense what it was he was sensing, his whole body would be trembling from the boss's immense presence.
It's just an assumption. Like, the fact that a boss will come out only if it's a dungeon break is wrong.
Only those who've experienced a boss could truly understand how terrifying they are. Now, this next part isn't really all that important, but if you're wondering how it is Sung
Back
became
muscles.
so good at mining, it's because he analyzed the way one of the veterans did it. He
What?
slowed down time to perceive their movements as best he could, then observed everything from their posture, breathing patterns, and muscle activation.
This is silly. But maybe I'm being disrespectful right now. Oh lord, it can't be that sweaty, bro. It can't be that deep. Bro looked at like an Olympic athlete's mechanics. The sheer strokes, each mine, no wasted movements. The pickaxe is an extension of your arm. This is an art, bro. This is a craft. This is something that's not to be looked down upon, bro. This some fucking saber glazing Kuzuki sensei in Unlimited Blade Works saying, oh, that perfect breathing, that perfect movement gait, not a single wasted movement, bro. Everything is optimized to mine.
He would then copy what he saw to a T and even refine it where his abilities would allow him to.
Wow.
In only a few moments, he'd become a mirror image of the veteran he was copying.
Solo minor.
It was at lunch that Sung initially wasn't planning on doing anything, but like an addict on drugs, he couldn't help but at least see the boss. It was a giant humanoid staring menacingly in the background.
He was thirsty for
A massive
it.
chunk of levels Sung salivated at the sight of. Cha stepping in reminded Sung of the grave mistake he was about to make, since to steal a guild's loot was one of the worst things any hunter could do.
A crime.
Remember, these gates aren't just dungeons to be cleared, but are also massive financial investments too. Legally, this wasn't Sung's property, and to kill the boss would deny the Hunters Guild a large portion of what was rightfully theirs.
Dude, knowing so many trolls in MMOs that I've played that's constantly grifted and just like did some trolling thing to like wipe a raid or just, you know, do stuff like that. Surprised there aren't really people doing this shit here. I feel like there could be a lot of trolling going on, a lot of like just, oh, I'm gonna kill the boss and fuck this dungeon. You guys invested all this money into it, fuck you.
The financial losses would be immense for them. Cha's presence also went to highlight the difference between hunters and laborers, because laborers never got to see just how dangerous monsters could be. It's because Cha and Sung did, though, that only Sung could truly appreciate what it was she was doing for them. What I mean is that if the boss did somehow break free, she wouldn't be the one in danger. No, the workers were the ones fully at risk here. How then can they relax and have a laugh while doing such work? Well, that was only possible because of Cha.
Their credibility.
Not only did she make sure they didn't come close to the boss, she also made sure they couldn't even detect its mana waves. So all this was her showing concern for complete strangers. She was sacrificing rest she very much deserved, and that left the impression that she was pretty amazing.
Okay.
To explain more
they just
about
have faith?
Cha's smell now, it's something the novel describes as a special constitution, a specialized sense that hunters gain when awakening. Choi exhibited it when being able to hear the commotion back here, and even Sung had his hearing enhanced when he first awakened.
Senses.
So, a special constitution wasn't as rare as you might think it was for hunters. Cha's case is a bit more of a peculiar one though, since while she never did find a reason for hunters smelling, a doctor did hypothesize that the higher their rank, the worse their smell was. This—
What? Interesting. Higher the rank, the worse it smells. Also, this condition sounds like it fucking sucks. Imagine being constantly just smelling ass everywhere you go, because that's the nature of your job, bro. She's basically living like a garbage man's duty without being a garbage man.
This could explain why Sung's was tolerable, but it didn't explain why his was pleasant. It was a train of thought that led her to think maybe this could be the person to unravel the mystery behind the special constitution tormenting her. In a world where every person you work with smells so bad you want to puke, it was only natural she want to seek out the exception.
They should have gave her like a gas mask. Like a Bane, some sort of like mask like that to make her super ominous and scary, but that wouldn't be waifu material.
So it was that same night that Cha began to worry she might never be able to see Sung again, up until she remembered he was part of the mining team.
Now she's stalking.
Since he was likely to be at the A-rank raid tomorrow, she figured it shouldn't be weird to just drop in and check up on him. She was the guild's vice chairman after all. So that was a thought that left her more relaxed than usual. Switching back to Sung, his unique smell had left him thinking more about what it meant to be a player again. As the only one receiving—
He may be a player, but he's also a player. You get it? That's a corny ass joke.
Special benefits from the system, he started to think more carefully about his unique status and overall identity. It was a thought he didn't spend too much time on though, since with little new information, he knew he wasn't gonna figure anything out now anyway.
We don't have enough information, but he is a player of this game. This game is like, you know, something that's created for Jinmu, the Shadow Monarch. What about Dad? What is Dad? That's what I want to see, bro. I want to see Hayden smell Dad, because Dad is also categorically different based on his powers being measured by that device that measures Gates' powers, which would only correlate with monsters and stuff. So what the hell is Dad? Dad almost sounds more like a monster than like a, you know, a different system player, right? I don't know what's going on there.
It was just a matter of being cognizant of who he was. When Sung went to go talk to the foreman next, their discussion would reveal just how significant back-to-back A-rank gates were. This wasn't something that happened often, and even if it did, the association wasn't the type to hand out both permits to the same buyer. So when 2 A-rank gates showed up in the Hunter Guild's territory, Choi went straight to the association to plead his case. It's actually why he was there when Sung was getting reassessed. He
Ignored.
was convincing Chairman Go to give his guild both permits, securing an opportunity no guild had ever had before.
What a greedy guy.
This certainly increased the risk of failure, but it was that prospect which made Sung all the more interested. Because there was a chance the raid could fail, Sung felt the potential for action was worth it. Sure, he'd already gained the valuable information he wanted, but with nothing else to do, this was at least something. He was actually quite excited by the potential of what could be, since while he wasn't wishing for Strike Team B to make a mistake, he also wouldn't be upset if they did. Of course, Sung didn't think it was very likely though, since the association didn't just hand out permits to anyone. There was a reason high-ranked gates had a higher success rate than low-ranked ones. Either way,
because there's more competent people to attempt a raid than a bunch of shitters, you know, trying to go for a weak dungeon and still wiping.
whatever happens, the end result was best for someone. A successful raid meant good news for everyone, while a failed raid meant a high-rank monster farm all for himself. The latter was definitely a long shot, but once again, the potential for it was the core reason behind him showing up again. Now, there was actually a decently sized cutscene involving Jinho and his cousin, but this is what—
Cousin mentioned again. Yo, when are we getting cousin leveling? Yo, she needs to show up already. We saw a bit of her in the other cut content too, right? She's wearing a hat now. We need cousin leveling.
one of the few that I think the anime will get to next episode. It just seems like too big of a scene to leave out, and it's one that can be placed into the narrative.
Look at these dudes, bro. She wearing a hat. She's literally wearing a hat, and these dudes are thirsting. These dudes right over here, 1, 2, 3. They're like, whoa! Who is that One-san? Goddamn!
Later. Just know if they don't cover it, then I'll be sure to come back to it.
Okay.
Moving on to the day of. While this initial greeting wasn't cut content, it was a scene I'm happy they included. For a character whose increased power makes it harder for him to associate with people, to remember who he was before it really helps to humanize him.
Yeah, that sounds all good and nice, but like until you realize this piece of shit betrayed him. Same with most of the other people there. Like Juhi was alright, these two are alright, right? But like, yeah, he's losing his humanity. And he's becoming a lot more stronger, and by killing more and more, he becomes more numb, right?
It separates the part of him that's obsessed with leveling and reminds us he is still a human with emotions. I mean, the whole greeting was so heartwarming that even Sung felt he could get used to it.
I think that if anybody, it will be Cha Hae-in that grounds Sung Jin-woo to reality and to retain his humanity. You know, it's a common trope that you see in these shows where edgy dude gets, basically gets therapy by hot girl, right? So I think it's gonna happen here too.
When Ki-hoon came to recruit someone to be their porter next, the reason the hauling team couldn't spare anyone on their end was because the mining team finishing early yesterday forced them to have to work overtime. I don't know if it was out of a mindset of keeping up, but all the haulers had to skip dinner last night, so today they had no labor to spare. Naturally, no one wanted to risk their lives either, and that alone risked the success of the raid itself.
Yeah, I'm good.
With the search for a porter potentially going into the afternoon, there was a chance that the entire day could be lost. That's when Ki-hoon would notice Sung staring him down, clearly analyzing him and his unique physique as a tanker.
Oh, analyzing his physique. Okay, what about it?
Though their eye contact was brief, it was only after Sung had finished that Ki-hoon realized his entire body froze up. Sung's gaze had caused him to forget to even breathe.
What is this glaze, bro? No, that's the aura. That is the state of where Sung Jin-woo is at. Bro just exists, and he just exudes its aura that other people, even an A rank, a leader, bro, a captain of the strike force, feels intimidated, shocked. What is this guy?
Of course, Ki-hoon didn't realize this himself, so he instead chalked it up to nerves.
Okay.
It's an intense scene that definitely would have been cool to see in the anime.
It's kind of like when Kim Chul felt that Jinwoo was the natural leader of the group, despite being E rank, you know? Apparently, now there were some scenes where Ki-hoon looks at Jinwoo and kind of sizes him up, right? My interpretation of why he took Jinwoo after a little hesitation was the fact that, oh, an E rank is stepping up. That's pretty brave and heroic. Apparently, in the novel, I don't know, these are random YouTube comments, so who knows how legitimate this is. Some people are saying he knew how strapped E ranks were for cash, and also respected that he would step up to this plate. So it was like, this is a good opportunity for you to get some bag too. I don't know if that's really true, but I read a comment. Surely people online wouldn't lie, right?
Another interaction left out between them here was the way Ki-hoon analyzed Sung himself. Though little magical energy could be sensed coming from him, Sung's aura indicated he wasn't who he said he was. The way it was fully under control and so very sharp made it clear Sung wasn't the E rank he claimed to be. Of course, the foreman had no reason to lie, so Ki-hoon just figured something else was up. Besides, the rank of the porter didn't even matter anyway.
Yeah, just bag boy.
If the porter was getting attacked, then the raid was a failure to begin with. Everyone would have been destined to die regardless of his rank.
True, like if you can't even protect, like it really doesn't matter. Why do you care about the bag boy? If the bag boy hasn't reached, then it's already fucking over.
It's a conclusion that stems from—
Oh, you might be the dumbest, smartest guy ever, bro. First message. You actually read the rules and said, yo, bro, I'm new here. I didn't know I couldn't ask. All right, that's fine. You didn't ask and break the rule. Now you're just fucking pasting and commenting the same fucking thing for attention. Here's the attention you want. A fucking detention. That rhymed. See you tomorrow. All right.
From an interesting saying the healer girl mentions in the manhwa. If the mages get attacked, it's the tank's fault. If the healers get attacked, it's the strike squad's fault. And if the porter gets attacked, it's the guild's fault. What this means is that, unless there's an extremely serious mix-up, Sung should be completely safe.
Should be.
If he did somehow become the target of an attack, then that would be a problem stemming from the source. It would mean his entire strike squad was eliminated, and that would mean this was a gate they weren't qualified to handle. It's something that should never happen given the gate's ranking system. Now, the full strike squad was 11 A ranks and 6 B ranks, so there was a lot more hunters than we saw in the anime.
That's right, we cut out a bunch.
This also made Sung feel a lot more calm, since even if they did step foot into a red gate, the hunters alongside him were the ones he'd want to be stuck in a red gate.
There's some really cool designs here that got left out, huh? I mean, every one of them obviously didn't, have a time to shine, but it's just unfortunate. The designs are so unique, like this one over here, right? And there was the one we saw before. Maybe it was this one, the one that had like the inner buoy cleavage.
Gate with. It had led him to the decision not to sweat the small stuff since he was, after all, here for fun. He felt zero need to be alert 24/7 when amongst some of the best hunters in the country.
Yeah, this is literally smurfing. Like, no more sweaty grinding in solo queue or whatever. We're just fucking ranking up an ARAM. We're just chilling. I'm on vacation. Let's see what you guys can do. Turns out we need to save their ass.
It was once inside that, in addition to the conversation the healer girl was making already, she would also offer to help Sung carry stuff.
Wow.
Sung would hand her—
Why would that be? Because she's down bad for him. The healer girl is offering to help the bag boy? Look at those eyes. You seductress, I know what you're doing.
just one of the bottles, and the weight alone was enough to almost topple her over. It was a good laugh that made Sung reminisce on when last he was able to
try to carry some.
The jackals would then reveal the presence of intelligent beasts awaiting beyond, but not before getting the raid group to lower their guard a bit. They were so thrown off by this low-ranking monster that each and every one of them forgot the most basic rules of not raising their voice. They had eased up so much that they were now talking like they weren't even in a dungeon.
Getting too cocky.
When the high orcs showed up after this that not much really needs to be mentioned.
Aura.
The anime portrayed this far better than I could have ever imagined.
Best scene here, bro.
Gave us a little nod to
yeah, SAO scene, baby. Same team that worked on it.
SAO with this one.
Woo.
The healer girl did tell Sung to stay hidden, and that was a comment which genuinely went to piss him off a bit. I guess it was a case of her not knowing who she was talking to.
Oh, he got pissed off. Bro snapped. Bro got roid rage. Yo, chill.
The healer girl then has what I think is the best moment of the entire episode, but the way it goes down in the novels is actually with her hugging and shielding her patient. Both have her accept her fate courageously, so I think it's that depiction of her understanding what she signed up for that really went to appeal to me.
Yeah, that was cool. She wasn't crying and shitting her pants and saying, oh my god, it's over. She was like, well, I guess that's that. To Valhalla we go. She admitted, that it's like, it is what it is, and even told Jinmu, yeah, we'll get out of here with this diary if you can. Big ups that she, made her resolve.
Now, Sung was initially waiting for the raid to fail completely, but after realizing failure meant a significant loss of life, That's when he decided to step in preemptively. He would smile as he danced around orc
Ballerina.
after orc, taking out the ones that wouldn't be noticed. His stealth granted him a bit of relief too, since if anyone saw the smile he had on his face right now, they would for sure think he was at the very least crazy. His intensity only
The magic girl definitely noticed the stealth, but I don't think she saw the smile though.
doubled when he received a level up, since that revealed supporting was a viable way of gaining experience too.
Okay,
It
cool.
seemed assisting in killing the orcs netted him XP as well. He could have gained more levels if he was able to kill them all, but Sung decided to respect the gate was theirs and not his.
Oh, what a waste.
It was, after all, purchased for quite a large sum of money. In the end, the Strike Squad couldn't believe what they had accomplished, leading to a loud celebration Sung didn't really understand. What he didn't realize, though, was
They were celebrating, and Jim was like, "You dumbasses, bro! I just saved your asses. The fuck you celebrating for? Get out of here! The hell?"
that when committing to a high-rank gate such as this, the hunters took into consideration not only the gate's ranking, but also the most minute details regarding how much magic energy was being emitted from it.
Okay.
They did this so they could know with a certain level of confidence what to expect. So, when the most superior version of High Orcs showed up in a pack of 20, that was far beyond what they had calculated. All of them were expecting to face at least 1 or 2 casualties. The fact they didn't was nothing short of a miracle, and it's that miracle which Sung remains completely oblivious to. He may have been the cause of that miracle, but the true extent of his help would remain completely lost to him.
Okay.
When the healer girl stepped up to describe what she saw after this, she was actually met with disbelief and borderline ridicule.
Oh, the head's falling
Reason
off
being
here.
that her description of the events were full-on outlandish. An orc ripping off its own head, then killing another.
Yeah, this one was an extra. Like Jinmu, for everyone else, he just cut a little bit of their ankles and stuff. But for this healer girl, I guess he just wanted to flex extra hard. Just like ripped the guy's head off and the spinal cord came out.
With said head was hardly something anyone would just believe. It was as she did that Sung could only chuckle, then when she came up to ask him about it personally,
Bro was
it took a lot of
chuckling.
effort to deny it without snickering right in front of her.
Bro is just laughing. He's giggling. He's like, they don't know. That he's making fun of them. He just, you fucking idiot. That's crazy, because in the anime, he's being very respectful and being quiet, right? Just kind of silently observing. But in the source material, bro is just dying laughing. Just disrespectful. And I'm all for it.
It seems Sung in the novel goes a bit hard with the disrespect towards this healer girl.
He does.
I mean, even in the manhwa, he's seen to make light of her dramatic action here. I actually preferred
That's so fucked up. This is the will. This is the will to her family, right? It's like, please deliver this to my family if I'm gonna die. And he's like, bruh. It's gonna be okay, don't worry.
I actually preferred the way the anime handled this, though, since while this whole endeavor may not have been serious for Sung, it truly was life or death for the rest of them.
Yeah, it's honestly feels like a gag out of like Eminence and Shadow, or even like Grieving Souls, you know what I mean? It feels like this, the way that Aninews is narrating the events that happened sounds just like one of those comedic, you know, dungeon fantasy shit where everyone else, like the NPCs, the side mobs, they're just in so much danger. They're just so much threat. Everything is so serious to them. And to the main character would be Jinwoo in this situation. And he's like, what the fuck is going on, bro? He's just having a comical time. And it's just the gap there of them trying to fucking struggle for their life and Jinwoo just having the time of his life.
To them, they fully believed they were making the ultimate sacrifice, a serious sentiment well contrasted with Sung's flashback to the double dungeon. In any case, I would be lying if I said the fact they couldn't leave didn't make Sung happy. Even though Ki-hoon made the decision to retreat, Sung really wanted to stay and continue fighting.
Me too. I was like, don't you dare fucking leave, you pussies. We need more content.
So when 50 more orcs showed up to challenge them, Sung once again started to salivate at the amount of experience he was about to get. Before he knew it, he had already instinctively summoned his dagger behind his back. Now wasn't the right time to attack, but this was definitely the moment he'd been waiting for. Even his shadows could be sensed yearning for bloodshed. The rest was then pretty much as we saw, bringing us to that perfect sequence introducing the boss room.
Wonder what the shadows are doing. Can the shadows see what Jinwoo's doing? I guess so. Wonder if they're all like, come on, boss. Let us out. Let us out. Come on. Let's go fuck him up. I know you wanna. Come on. Come on. Let's go. It's like, not yet, boys. Not yet. We gotta chill. One more episode.
I don't know about you, but the way they panned us in while blurring Hiroyuki's music really set the tone for the grand fight waiting ahead of us.
Absolutely.
It was this combined with those amazing fight sequences from earlier that solidified episode 5 as the best of season 2 so far.
Yes. What the fuck was that noise I just made? I think that episode 2 or episode 6, because the Baraka fight, the iron stuff with the Igris fight, that shit went crazy. You know? There's some fucking crazy ass scenes that happen. So episode 2, I think, stands up there. But episode 5 also was fucking crazy, man. My 2 favorite moments definitely is the Kihun versus the orc leader guy, right? That whole SAOS slash, that was really cool. And the intro into the boss dungeon room. Those 2 scenes were really cool. But that Baraka fight, bro, that was like a whole highlight montage reel happening over and over again. I don't know. They're both fantastic.
But yeah, that's everything from episode 17. Now, this was really hard for me to make. If I sounded a bit weird, it's because I've been pretty sick lately, so that's...
I didn't even notice. Literally could not tell a difference in quality of the video. Hope you get better soon.
Why this video ended up taking so long. Yeah, I'll be back to my regular schedule probably next week, but I really just need to get some rest right now, so...
Take a break, bro. Honestly, releasing this video late that, you know, overlaps with the dates that episode 6 comes out might be better in terms of, you know, search engine optimization and having a lot of people be excited and, you know, to have, you know, this topic get circulated on that day of upload. Please go check out Mr. Aninews' channel. Here's a link. Go give the video a like. I'll see you next time.